We all have them. Negative thoughts can seem to ruin your life, and I know that this really drives people crazy, particularly in the world of manifestation, because we've all been told that we manifest from our thoughts. And so today I wanted to share with you guys a little bit of knowledge and give you some tools to help you reframe and get out of the negative thought spiral, because I know it can be so easy to go down there. It can be so easy to believe what your brain is telling you, but you really have the choice to turn any thought around. And today I'm going to share with you how to do that. So if you want to learn, then be sure to keep watching. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome aboard. My name is Jen. I am a success mindset and manifestation coach, and this is my YouTube channel where I bring you 2 fresh new videos every week all about the art of creating your best life. So if you are interested in either mindset or manifestation or both, then be sure to hit that subscribe button and join me on this little journey of expansion. So negative thoughts are just a fact of life, and it doesn't matter how much work you do on yourself. It doesn't matter how good you become at manifesting. It doesn't matter, just how spiritual a person you think you are. Sooner or later, you are going to encounter a negative thought. And those negative thoughts, aren't really that important, but they can really switch your mood around and make you feel out of control and make you feel like, there's something wrong with you even. We tend to have all kinds of judgments about our negative thoughts. If you were like me, we just think that we shouldn't have them, which is something I need to talk about in this video as well. So let's dive into it. Let's get into the world of negative thinking and why it's not as big of a deal as you think it is. But I'm also going to give you some tools to help you flip up and switch your thinking around your negative thoughts. Now, let's start with story time. So when I was a little girl, I was a very sensitive little kid, and I would cry a lot. And I remember one of the big messages I received from my parents was that I was too sensitive. And so what did that mean for me as a kid? That meant for me that my emotions were bad, and that I shouldn't have them, and that if I have them, I probably shouldn't express them because no one is interested in listening to me talk about them. So that for me was a very toxic way to kind of grow up, because I didn't learn how to speak my mind. I didn't learn how to talk about my emotions. I just kind of learned that these were things that I shouldn't be experiencing, which isn't really a healthy way to grow up. And I'm not blaming you, mom and dad. It's just that's a lot of us, I think, grew up with this idea. And I don't even think necessarily that our parents understand how to deal with this stuff. I don't think people have really understood how to deal with this stuff until like pretty recently, honestly. Like, emotions are what drives us in life. We base all of our decisions, as logical as we think we are, we base most of our life decisions off of our emotions. So it seems kind of crazy to me that we never learn this stuff in school unless you have a parent or someone close to you in your family that teaches you how to think about your emotions, express your emotions, manage your emotions. We didn't get any emotional training. We just had to learn what was given to us. And like the example that I gave you just now wasn't always the healthiest. So I just want you to understand that if you have weird feelings about your negative emotions, if you feel like they're out of control, or if they're shameful, if you're judging yourself for even having them, these are all totally normal things. And negative emotions are in fact just part of the deal of being a human. So that's the second thing I wanted to mention. We can't get out of this life without having some negativity, or as the Abraham Hicks world would call it, contrast. If we were just light and happy and shiny all the time, for one thing, there would be no point in incarnating in this human form. We came into this human space from a spiritual perspective to experience limitation and to experience hardships. If we wanted to just have connection and feel happy all the time, we would remain part of the universe in spiritual form, and we would never come here in the first place. So we are here to experience happiness and joy in human form, but that's also going to be contrasted sometimes with, the negative stuff, the sadness, all kinds of things. So just understand that you can't get out of life without having negative emotions. I think people have this perfectionist fantasy, like if something bad is happening to me, if I'm experiencing a bad emotion, I must be doing something wrong. I must be being punished for something. That is not the case at all. So please stop taking it so personally. We will all have these moments, and they are here for us. They are here to give us contrast. They are here to highlight the good stuff on the good side of the wheel, right? So just understand that. Don't feel guilty about having them, because feeling guilt and shame about just experiencing these things, that is not going to help you to get out of it. It's just going to make the whole thing worse. So please don't judge yourself like that. The last thing I wanted to say about negative emotions before we dive into how to manage them is just to really understand that, to build on what I was just saying, but to understand that there is no perfection state that we will ever achieve. And I know we all fall into this line of thinking like, once I graduate, once I get the job, once I get married, once I have the kids, once I retire, once I do this, once I do that, then nothing's gonna bother me anymore, and I'm gonna feel great all the time, and I'm never gonna feel another negative emotion ever again. And that is completely untrue, my friends. Unfortunately, negative emotions are here, our problems are here. We are here to have the whole range of human emotion, not just the good part. So don't fantasize yourself into thinking that someday this isn't going to happen to you, or that someday you'll be beyond this, because you're, again, just setting yourself up for disappointment and probably pushing away, you know, the happiness that you think you deserve, because you're not letting yourself be happy until all the negativity goes away, and that's never going to happen. So take a deep breath and just accept that this is what life is. We've all got something, and knowing that, you can now move forward with power and not feel punished by these things. Okay, so now that we talked a little bit about the purpose of negative emotions and how normal they are and how normal it is to not understand them, let's go into the next part of the video, which is understanding where they're coming from and how we can start to take control over them. So just to start off, I want to give you guys the warning that this, like, you might understand this stuff intellectually, but when it's happening to you in real time, it might take you a moment to snap out of it. It might take you hours, days, weeks, but you can flip these things around. You can give yourself a new perspective. You can take this tool and this knowledge and give yourself a new perspective. And giving yourself a new perspective is the best tool we have for transformation. It is the best way that we can step into our happiest life. It is, if we stay where we are, if we keep judging things, if we keep believing the soundtrack of negativity that our brain feeds us, then, you know, nothing in our life is going to change. But if you're serious about creating a new, happier life for yourself, then you really need to take this stuff to heart. So let's just explain now where negative feelings come from. Because I think this is, again, another thing that we get stuck on, is we think that the outside world is the thing that's causing our problems. And then we want to fix our problems by controlling the outside world, and controlling the outside world, trying to control other people or situations or make everything go the way we want to. It's a really exhausting way to go through life, and it doesn't work. The only thing you have control over is you. So the tool I want to give you today is all about that, exerting your control over yourself instead of going into the perfectionist, controlling person that a lot of people can turn into because they're trying so hard to hold on to their own happiness. So with that all being said, let's understand where negative emotions come from. And this is where all emotions come from, by the way. It's not just negative ones, but really they all come from us. They are generated by us. Nothing in the outside world makes us feel a certain way. I know that you grew up when you were a kid, your parents told you, don't hurt somebody else's feelings, or that person hurt your feelings. And we're given this story that other people can hurt us in this way. But the only person that can really hurt you is you. And when I walk through this, hopefully you'll be able to understand what that really means. So what happens in the real world? Something happens outside of you. And then you have a thought about it, you process. We all process everything. We turn it into a thought, we turn it into a story, we turn it into a narrative. Then we have a feeling about that thought, and then that's the feeling. But this all happens so fast, we don't even notice it, right? We go from external event to story to feeling, like that. Like, we just feel something instantly. So that's one thing you need to know. If you are trying to if you're trying to manage your emotions, just understand they may have seemingly come out of nowhere, but really, if you slow things down, question what your brain is telling you, you can see that there's a process. There's a process that happened. So this thing that happened outside of you might not be something that you want. It might not be something that you anticipated, But that thing, no matter what it is, really has nothing to do with you. So if someone comes up and calls you fat, that has nothing to do with you. Okay, that literally has nothing to do with you. And I'm going with this one because this is the one big insult women love to hurl at each other, especially when we're younger. Calling somebody fat is like the worst thing, right? So if someone comes up to you and calls you fat and you're like, oh my God, I must look awful. I shouldn't have worn these jeans today, or I should, you know, the sweater's shrunk in the wash, or whatever the story is in your mind. And then you're like, oh my God, why am I here? Like, I should go home. I need to go change. And like, I feel terrible and I want to cry and all of this stuff. So you're equating now this person said this word, which isn't a nice word, of course, with you feeling bad and crying maybe. But what's really happening is that you've created a story about this, and you on some level are agreeing with what this person told you. So the way I like to flip this and to show you how it is your story and your agreement and your thoughts that are hurting you is, if you are like me, say I'm walking down the street with my dark hair and someone came up to me, the same situation, some random person came up to me and was like, really ugly purple hair you have. What would I think? I would be like, that's funny. I don't have purple hair. And I would carry on with my day and not even worry for one little second about it, because I know I don't have purple hair and I know I'm not agreeing with this person. And so they said something crazy to me, but it isn't sticking to me, right? So if someone comes up to you and calls you fat and it's sticking to you, that is because you wrote a story about it that meant something to you. So you incorporated that and took it to heart. So the purple hair comment, I was able to deflect from me because I know I don't have purple hair, and it doesn't matter if someone tells me my purple hair is ugly because I know I don't have purple hair. Someone could come up and tell me my red shoes are ugly and I'm not wearing red shoes, so who cares? It doesn't matter. But when someone tells you you're fat and part of your brain thinks you're fat and you get upset and you start crying, then you know some part of you is agreeing with that. And that is where the real pain comes from. It's not from that person saying the words, it's from you judging yourself. The pain is coming from inside you. The call is coming from inside the house. And I know, again, it's hard to wrap your head around this at first, but I hope these examples can help to illustrate what is really happening. So let's just talk about that again. So it is external event, internal story, feeling. So the cool thing that happens here is that you understand that the only thing that you don't have control of is the external event. But you have control over the thoughts and the words and the story. And that means you also have control over the feelings. So do you see where I'm going here? So say you are at work, you've had the same job for 3 years, and one day your whole team gets laid off. You know, the company is not doing well and whatever, they didn't anticipate, something happened and they had to lay off your whole team. So you can take that in and be like, well, I should have worked harder. I'm a terrible worker. I never should have worked here. I've just wasted my life. Like all of those feelings, all of those stories, that's going to make you feel like crap. You are going to feel disempowered. You are going to feel like, you know, there's nothing you can do. You're going to feel like you're not a good employee, etc., etc., etc. But you are the one creating the story. So you could take the same story and someone else on your team may have taken the same story and is like, wow, cool. I haven't felt excited to come to work in 3 months. The team was really tense all the time because we knew the company was ending, and now I can take my severance pay and go live in Costa Rica for 2 months and then come back and start my own business. And they have a completely different attitude for the exact same situation that you do. So that's another key how you know. If two people can see the same situation in two different lights, and this is how we all look at everything, we all have a different perspective, we all have a different point of view, meaning that there is no one subjective reality, meaning that all the meaning that we've projected on the situation has come from us, meaning we can take responsibility for it and change it. So now you can see the difference. I hope that those very different examples can help you understand. It can be hard, I know, I get it. I've been the one being called names. I've been the one being laid off and feeling like shit. Like I've had it happen. Like I've been the one being dumped, like all the things, and you take it personally, and in the moment it can be hard. But trust me, you guys, if you can start to slow down, if you can start to understand what your brain is telling you, and then also understand that what your brain is telling you isn't always in your best interest. In fact, a lot of the time what your brain tells you is completely not in your best interest. And so this is just an opportunity for you guys to remember your power. So my point, one of the points I have for having this YouTube channel is to remind you guys that you are a conscious creator. You are consciously creating the life that you want to live in. So when the narrative isn't what you want it to be, why don't you consciously create it and exercise your conscious creation power and change it into a narrative that feels good and feels empowering and lets you feel happy moving forward. It's not going to change the event. You're still going to have, you know, some person said something rude to you on the street, or you're still going to be laid off, or you're still, whatever, that stuff's still going to have happened. We can't control that stuff, but you can control what it means for you. You can control how it makes you feel. And that is one of the most empowering things in the world. So again, just to recap, just slowing down and listening to your brain and listening to what the story that has been seemingly put there but was actually written by you, and then understanding what that is, that can give you the perspective you need to begin to choose something else. This stuff may not happen overnight. In fact, it takes practice. In fact, it takes a lot of shifting sometimes over some of these big situations. But you really have the power to shift anything. You really have the power to change and take control of the narrative of every aspect of your life. So with that all being said, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it has given you some perspective on negative emotions, which is a big topic for me, obviously. But if you liked it, if you got something out of it, do me a favor, give it a like. If you know someone that could use this message, pass this along to them. And if you want to learn more about me, come on over to the site. I have a free Magical AF audio training for you guys to download over there if you sign up for updates. And I'd love to have you as part of my newsletter group as well. So come join me over there and hang out. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I am a life coach, and I am really obsessed with mindset and helping people switch out of their old patterning. So if negative beliefs are something that you have struggled with, if this is work that you can understand but you can't quite get there yourself, then maybe a coach is the right move for you. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, you can come over and fill in an application form, and we can set up a free discovery call to talk about whatever it is that is happening for you in your life right now, and to see if you're a good fit for coaching. So I'd love to see you over there as well. And with all of that being said, thank you guys so much again for being here. I'll see you in the next video. And until then, just remember, get ready for the miracle. See you guys.